As Diablo's reckless battle against Feldway unfolded, Zalario, observing from a distance, was left in stunned disbelief. He realized, perhaps unwillingly, that Diablo was attempting something utterly insane, pushing beyond all reasonable limits. His immediate impulse was to intervene, to physically stop Diablo, but doing so would only play into Feldway's hands. Frustratingly, he had no better alternative. Sylvia and Almesia, upon recognizing what Diablo was doing, shared the same shock. Even Almesia, usually composed, was visibly shaken, understanding that only Rimuru could truly control Diablo. The absence of their leader made them uneasy, yet they held on to the belief that Rimuru would return. Diablo's audacity, using Void Disintegration as energy within his own body, was beyond reckless, something they would have normally stopped at all costs. Sylvia quipped at the absurdity of his composure despite wielding a force capable of destroying the world. Almesia, half joking, lamented Rimuru's absence, already planning to report Diablo's actions. As they struggled to process the situation, Laplace attempted to join the conversation, but his efforts at familial bonding with Sylvia and Almesia backfired spectacularly. His daughter, whom he had never met, found it difficult to accept him as her father, her admiration shattered by the reality of his clownish appearance. While Laplace was eager to connect, Almesia remained hesitant, questioning his legitimacy. The awkward reunion progressed slightly when she reluctantly allowed him to call her by her first name, marking the first step in their strained relationship. Shifting the focus back to the battle, Kagali and Leon pressed for an explanation regarding Diablo's actions. Both had witnessed Diablo matching Feldway, yet sensed an underlying danger. Having overheard Sylvia and Almesia's concerns, they sought clarity, wondering if there was anything they could do. However, Zalario bluntly shut down that hope, confirming that they were powerless in this situation. Sylvia agreed, emphasizing that their best course of action was to restore their strength while Diablo handled the battle. Almesia grimly acknowledged that if Diablo's control over the Void failed, the world would be annihilated. Her only hope was that Rimuru would return in time to prevent disaster. This realization left Laplace, Kagali, and Leon speechless, fully grasping the severity of the situation. Amidst the tension, Tyr remained cheerful, viewing the camaraderie around her as uplifting despite the grim stakes. Her optimism, though seemingly naive, had a contagious effect, helping the others find resolve. While they were powerless to assist Diablo, they chose to believe in his victory and trust that Rimuru would return before catastrophe struck. If the worst happened, their final course of action was clear. They would place the blame squarely on Rimuru's shoulders and demand an explanation. As Guy and Velzard unleashed their full power, the battlefield's danger level escalated dramatically. Testarossa, maintaining her cold composure, turned her gaze toward Moss, questioning the integrity of the protective barrier. Moss, fully aware of the impending catastrophe, struggled to respond, knowing that admitting failure could bring a fate worse than death at Testarossa's hands before the battlefield itself was annihilated. Desperate to appease her, he reinforced the barrier as much as possible, declaring his utmost effort, though it was hardly a reassuring answer. Rain, taking over control of the barrier from Moss, attempted to lighten the mood with a bold promise to call Testarossa Oni-sama if the barrier failed, though her misplaced confidence only earned Testarossa's exasperation. Testarossa, sighing in resignation, dismissed their banter with a stark warning to brace for impact, prompting immediate confusion from both Moss and Rain. However, Misery, ever perceptive, had already prepared herself, while Sauka, despite her lack of understanding, instinctively followed orders, assuming a defensive stance. The stark contrast between their reactions highlighted the difference between the truly capable and those merely struggling to keep up. Then, in an instant, the barrier trembled violently, the delayed sound of devastation following shortly after. Velzard unleashed her full might, roaring as she activated her ultimate attack, Whiteout Absorb, an attack that embodied her absolute power, ensuring the complete annihilation of anyone who dared to stand against her. Velzard's white shockwave shattered Moss's reinforced barrier instantly, forcing Rain to eat her words and desperately call Testarossa Oni-sama, much to Testarossa's irritation. Their survival, however, came from unexpected reinforcements. Gabiru and Geld arrived just in time via spatial transfer. Gabiru activated his ultimate gift, Moodmaker, using fate alteration to rewrite destiny and prevent disaster, while Geld simultaneously deployed a barrier to absorb the attack's remnants. Seizing the brief reprieve, Moss quickly re-established the barrier, securing their survival. While Rain attempted to claim credit for their survival, her words were met with silence as the others chose to ignore her theatrics. Meanwhile, Gabiru rushed to check on Sauka, expressing his relief for her safety. However, Sauka, keenly perceptive, saw through his concerns and correctly assumed that Gabiru was also worried about Sufia, his beloved. She reassured him that, despite being frozen, Sufia was in no danger as Velzard's ice functioned as the ultimate protective shield. Gabiru felt relieved but unaware of the true magnitude of his fate alteration. Despite its restrictions, its impact far exceeded expectations, not just luck but a reality-shifting miracle. Its full potential remained unknown, but the miracle was far from over. Guy immediately recognized Velzard's trump card as they abandoned restraint for an all-out battle. Velzard unleashed Whiteout Absorb, freezing him with its devastating force, causing pain but no real damage. In response, Guy drew World, his Genesis-class sword, its radiant blade pulsing with a rainbow glow. Unlike Tenma Asura, which he gifted Milim, Wald was perfectly attuned to him, instantly elevating his existence value to match Velzard's, nullifying her power advantage. Though Whiteout Absorb wounded him and momentarily sealed divine regeneration, he devoured the freezing effect and healed instantly using a replication of gluttonous King Beelzebub. Having already analyzed Patience King Gabriel and Envious King Leviathan, he rendered them ineffective, and even Velzard's stop ability was merely a minor obstacle. Fully synchronized with World, Guy grinned, assured of his victory. With Velzard's trump card spent and her edge erased, the battle was already decided. Wielding Pride King Lucifer, Guy was almighty, the strongest, and utterly unstoppable.